So we're back with another episode of Kiss My Assets. Heather, working investor relations, and Bart, who is a very cool kid and director of marketing and the man who signs my paycheck. So we love him very much, Jamison Manwaring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You earn every penny.
That's right. And we're going to talk about articles that I thought were interesting.
Thanks,
and you are
Heather.
held captive. Well, we do. So first, the U.S. housing market, the housing market. I just want you to explain to me very gently and simply what is going on.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things is there were a lot of predictions that the housing market nationally was going to tank once interest rates went up.
Yes.
Because as we all know, in the last 18 months, interest rates have more than doubled, which means the cost to buy a house has gone up. I don't know the percent off my top of my head, but it's something like 20% per percent is your monthly payment. So it's a lot higher.
That's too much.
And it hasn't happened. The price of houses has stayed steady. It stayed high. And I think a lot of people are a little baffled by it. But at the end of the day, it means that if you want to buy a house, you got to really want to buy it because the payment's higher.
Yeah, but also sellers just aren't selling. Sellers don't want to sell. It would be
they have gone on strike.
Yeah, it'd almost be irresponsible to sell your house right now. Especially if you bought it when the mortgage rates were 2 to 3%.
Well, so I did. I got mine at 2 something, and I keep telling people it's going to be my coffin because I will never sell. And no one finds it funny but me.
And that's smart.
Yeah,
that's smart. But yeah, if you're going to trade out for a new house and you're paying 2% or 3% interest, and now you're paying 6.5%, you better really want another new house.
Yeah,
because your current house, if you just refinanced the same house, your mortgage is going to be way higher. So if you're going to buy a new house, it has to be much better. So there's still some transactions happening, but that's one of the when you look at the price of housing, it's always about supply and demand. And the supply side of that equation, to your point, is constrained because people are not moving. They're saying, I'm not going to leave my 3% interest rate. I'm not going to leave my 2% interest rate. So the supply has stayed down. And in this article, the Fortune article, something that's really striking is that right now in March of 2023, Realtor.com had 350,000 homes for sale. And that's actually less than it was a year ago. So a year ago, when things were crazy with the housing market, there were 437,000 homes for sale in March 2022. And 3 years prior to that, March of 2019, there were 478,000 homes for sale. So there is not enough supply right now. So even though the cost has gone up because of interest rates, the supply has not come back.
So that's the U.S. as a whole. So then what about Arizona in particular? Because that's really what I care about.
There was an article that my old firm, Goldman Sachs, put out earlier in the year, and they expected that places like Phoenix would have a 25% decline in housing values. And it was a kind of a controversial article. They were trying to, rile things up as they tend to do. But we're not seeing it. We're seeing the same things happen here. And we'll get into some of these numbers a little bit, but we know 100,000 people, actually 110,000 people moved to Maricopa County again last year. And the demand on the other side of this equation, supply, demand, the demand for houses is really strong, and there's not enough supply to meet that demand.
Yeah. One of the quotes from the article that I like is, when consumers aren't at the table to buy a home, they have to live somewhere. So where do they go? They go to rent.
Which is good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you drive down Central Corridor of Phoenix, if you drive around and especially if you've been here a while, you notice there are a lot of new apartment buildings going up, and that's where a lot of these folks who are moving here end up living.